Hey friends, my name is Elle and this is David, and you are watching the deep dive for Grow Curriculum. In this particular deep dive, we are going to be looking at the discipleship activity and the fall event for Grow Students Volume 5. What we're going to do for both of these things, we're going to do discipleship first, then the event. We're going to look at the big picture of both of these, and then we're going to get a little bit more specific on a couple of really fun details that we don't want you to miss. So that's the plan.
Yes. And so if you're a Grow user, this is a perfect opportunity for you to plan ahead for both of these discipleship events and discipleship activity and event. So this will be great to prepare. If you're not a Grow user, no worries. You can actually take these events if you want and try to use them for yourself. But we're just going to give you an overview of the discipleship activity, which is the small group party kits. And then we're going to give you tips for that. And then we're going to give you an overview of the all-nighter, which is a super fun, super awesome event that I'm excited for you guys to do. And then we'll give you guys some tips on that as well.
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay, so let's take a look first at our small group party kits. Now, these are the discipleship activity for the fall quarter. And if you're new to Grow or you just haven't spent a lot of time looking at our discipleship strategy, here is how this works. We break the year into 4 quarters, and then each of those quarters, we assign a spiritual habit to that quarter. So in the fall, we focus on the spiritual habit of spending time with others because it's a great way to kick off your year to kind of help students really engage in a deeper sense of community with each other and with trusted adults. So we always want to give you an activity that helps you do that more effectively. And so what we're doing in volume 5 are these small group party kits. David, you actually want to introduce a special guest who's going to talk about this. So go ahead, tell us who we have here with us.
Yes. So we actually have the author of the small group party kits, and that is Brooklyn Lindsay. So Brooklyn, she's actually a part of our team here at Stuff You Can Use. Fun fact, she also used to be my babysitter back when I used to live in Florida. And so Brooklyn, how about you tell us a little bit about this activity?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. And David, yes,
Hmm.
I wish I had these party kits when I was your babysitter, but hey, maybe someday when time travel exists, I'll make the whole experience better. But anyway, yeah, we've come up with these small group party kits because in youth ministry, party is great, but when we have a list and some suggestions and kind of a vision for where things are going to go, things go so much better. So what we have instructions and suggestions for 10 different parties that small groups can do together. It's super simple. All you have to do is take a look at each party, look at the suggestions for what you could put into the kit, and put those things together, and then empower your leaders to have those parties. I want to share a few of those ideas with you because they're all super fun, but a few of our favorites are the pool party, number one. Pool party is super fun no matter what. You put a big giant body of water in front of kids and it's always fun, but you can make it even more intentional by buying a bunch of inflatables from the dollar store, getting pool noodles, snacks, all that stuff you can put into a kit and just hand it to your leader and they're good to go. Another idea that we had was a TikTok party, which obviously kids are already doing TikTok. They know how to do that, but you can just kind of step up the game by giving your leaders a box full of stuff that they can use, like a Bluetooth speaker or a bunch of props that they might want to use, or even just some snacks and some fun stuff that will make it even more fun. And my favorite is the order in dinner party. It's a party where small group leaders gather at one place with all of their students and they order in food from different places. So what you can do is create a box full of things that they can use during that party. So things like utensils, paper products, fun snacks, in addition to the food they're already going to be ordering, and other things, little surprises that will help the party be really fun and give structure to the time together. Sometimes we're not always sure what to do when we're hanging out, so we'll definitely give you step-by-step instructions to give to the leaders so they know when to start, when to end, and how to make it all flow together. Super exciting.
Yeah. And so one of my favorite ones is actually the hiking party. Just because I like to go hiking and like to be in nature. So I think it'd be a blast for you to take your students on a little hiking trail. But just make sure you research what kind of hikes and you kind of know the skill level of your students so you don't go on a super challenging hike and you get some dehydrated students or some not so fun hikes and that sort of thing experience. So just make sure you do your research on that. But yeah, now that you know that this what this party kits are all about and an overview of this, let's give you some tips on how to make it the best win for you and for your small group.
Awesome. Thank you, Brooklyn, for your time and for this resource that we're super excited about. I actually did something similar to this in my ministry at one point, and the thing that I love about these small group party kits is just how flexible they are. So when you're using them, like you could use them for just like a month, you could just use them for a week, or you could actually use them for like the whole year if you wanted to, and just kind of keep these kits on hand. You can keep refilling them. You can keep them in your ministry environment for small groups to take like whenever they want. It's totally up to you. So that's one of my tips. David, what do you suggest for these party kits?
Yeah. My tip for you guys is this: is let your students pick the small group party kit that they want to do. I know sometimes the temptation will be that you want to like kind of pick a cool party kit that you think you want to do. Maybe you really like hiking like I do, but maybe your students are not going to be into hiking. So just kind of ask them, take a pulse of like what they kind of are into. And here's even this too. So like we've given you the structure of this activity, but you don't have to be limited to the 10 that we provide for you. If your students want to come up with a different party kit, like go for it, like do that, and just kind of like follow the guidelines that we've set in the activity, and then you can execute the kind of the one that the students want to do. That way it'll just be a huge win. That's a really big tip for any pastor, any youth pastor watching this at this moment.
Yes. And we actually also have these available for kids and for adults as well. So if your church is using Grow Kids or Grow Groups, which is our adult small group curriculum, you'll also find versions of this that is more age appropriate for those two different audiences. So yeah, keep that in mind. Like if your church is using this for other ministries, you guys can all collaborate on this. Or even like, hey, maybe there's an idea in the kids party kits that you're like, actually, my students might actually really find that fun. So you guys can share ideas, do whatever you want. But yeah, that exists for you. So yeah, that's the idea. And that's really it for these small group party kits. Hopefully you find these pretty straightforward, but also like really impactful and fun. And we did all of the work for you in terms of graphics and setup and all of that stuff. So hopefully this will be easy for you to pull off. So now let's take a look at the event for the fall quarter. Okay, so since the spiritual habit for the fall quarter is spend time with others, we always like to give you like a really fun, high energy event to kick off the school year that will give students like a really fun chance to connect with each other, maybe invite some friends to church for the first time. So usually that is in the form of an all nighter. So we've given you this all nighter called the late night game night. You can also do it as a half nighter or a typical event if you're not into the all nighter. So don't be scared. You can still use it even if you are anti lock in. But yeah, that's what this event is all about. So David, tell us what like the theme is for this event because you and I got to work on this one together. So what is this all about?
Yes, so this event is inspired by the late night talk show hosts and TV game shows. And so we took inspiration from Jimmy Fallon, the show The Floor is Lava from Netflix, The Masked Singer, Minute to Win It games, Ellen's Games with Games, and lots more. So this is a really cool like kind of mashup of like the games from both segments that are usually really fun, very exciting, and I think your students are going to love this a lot.
Yeah. And so when we give you an event like this, it comes with like hopefully all the things you need to pull it off. So we give you instructions for all of those activities, but we also give you some really fun ideas for like themed food and decor and like fun segments. And we also include specifically for this event, we include an optional teaching component if you want to like give the gospel presentation and also like an upfront programming kind of schedule. So David, walk us through that. What are
Mhm.
we including in that?
Yeah, so think of the main programming as kind of like your own TV show. So you can feel free to get as creative as you can with this. You can do a monologue. You could do an interview with a volunteer. Like they could come in and dress up as some like random character. Kind of do like a fun interview doing that. You can do fun games. I know one of the games we suggested is what's in the box, where students try to like fish out like what's in the box without trying to see it. And then of course we like Elle said like the optional teaching, and you can do worship in conjunction with this main programming. So yeah, you can definitely just make this yourself, kind of plan and structure your service and your programming to kind of make it fun, but also like very engaging. Like we said, you might have students that have never been to church before this, so this is a perfect time to present the gospel, and we've, like I said, included that in the programming and structure for this activity. So now that we've kind of talked about the overview of the activity, let's talk about some tips on how to make this extra awesome.
Okay, so here's my first tip, which is make sure that when you're planning an all nighter, especially if you've never done an all nighter before or you're a little rusty, make sure that you're planning a mixture of like all play activities and activities that students can kind of just do on their own or like with a friend. The reason for that is like it's a long time to be locked in a room with your youth group. And you need a little bit of variety, friends. Some of your students are going to love the all play stuff. Some of them are going to hate it, and they're going to be like, can I just go sit quietly in that corner, please? So just make sure that you're kind of accommodating that. We did give you ideas for those types of students to kind of give them a break from the all play stuff in your event. So for example, we have like a screening room, and the idea is that you could just have an area of your space where students can go in and watch movies either all night or at like certain parts of the night, either movies or TV shows. And if you wanted to, you could also kind of spin this into like an award show type of vibe where students are like the movie critics and they're kind of voting for their like favorites and like least favorites things, all that stuff. I really love the green room idea that we've included in here. So kind of like if your students are the guest on a talk show, they would have a green room to go to. It could just be as simple as like a room where they can just go hang out. Maybe there's board games, maybe there's snacks. But if you want to get real fancy, you could also have like a hair and makeup team in there to, just spruce some kids up if they're feeling a little tired. They're like, man, 3 a.m., I'm looking rough. I just need to go see hair and makeup really quick. So think about things like that. Even like the minute to win it games. Yes, you can do those as like big all play things or like up on stage, but you can also turn those into little booths that students can just go visit throughout the night if they're bored and just want to like go win a prize or just do something really fun really quick. So keep that in mind. Keep that balance going.
Yeah. One of my tips that I have for you guys is customize your schedule. So like we were talking, like we can do this as a half nighter, as a full nighter, even like as a combo all nighter type of deal. So where you can have like your middle school students come in for the beginning part of the night and just leave like closer towards like 9, maybe even midnight. And then your high school students can stay for the all nighter, or you can just end it all at midnight. If you're just super and you want to get some sleep and you don't want to stay up all night, you can totally just split it like that. And it's just very customizable to you, to what's your context. Maybe it's a busy season in your life and in the community, in the church. And so like if you have something to do the next day, maybe just ending at midnight is good just for everyone's sanity and for their health. So that's the tip I want to give. One of the tips I want to give to you guys.
Love it. Another thing I would say is, friends, listen, do not miss the costumed dancer idea that we've given you. It's totally a ripoff of The Masked Singer, but with dancing instead of singing. And the idea is that you could do this either with volunteers or with like very brave students who want to play. But the idea is that you put at least one person, depends how long you want this to go for. You could do multiple. Put somebody in a costume, have them dance, and then you would put like pictures of who it could potentially be up on screen. And then students have to guess and see like who they think is in the costume. Just silly, dumb stuff, but we think it's pretty entertaining. And that would be a really great thing to do during that like main programming time that David was explaining, because it's just kind of like a fun, silly, entertaining thing that students can just observe and not have to participate in if they don't want to.
And then finally, like one thing that I think you shouldn't miss for activity-wise is called Someone on the Street, which is inspired by Billy on the Street, or what Jay Leno used to do called jaywalking. But essentially, I think you could go all out with this, where you dress up in like a super silly costume, or maybe you dress up super fancy, or don't dress up. You don't have to dress up, but just go and just interview random students, volunteers throughout the night. Maybe have like a fake microphone or one of those like little tiny microphones you see on TikTok, and you just like interview people, just ask them random questions about their life. About
yes
who
to the
they
tiny
are.
microphone.
Yes.
Yes.
And just interview them, whatever you want to do. Just obviously keep it appropriate. But I think it would be super cool. And this is a kind of like challenge for you. So like you interview these people, you videotape it, obviously. If you have like a super great tech person on staff with you, they can like edit the video and like show it just before the students leave to go home. Or you can post it on your Instagram or social media the morning after or the next day or something like that, so students can kind of see and kind of get that memory of like, oh, that's right, this someone came in and interviewed me and it was super silly and it was super fun. And here's a memory that like I half remember because I was half asleep at 2 a.m. in the morning or something like that. So yeah, definitely check that activity out. I think it'll be a hit with your students.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh. That one makes me so happy. I want to see that so badly. And friends, if you do that, please let us see, because that would make our hearts very, very
Yes.
pleased. So friends, that's the idea for the fall quarter. That's discipleship and the event. And so hopefully that gave you just some ideas of some fun stuff to do, maybe helps you feel a little bit more prepared for what you have coming up this quarter. And yeah, like we said, we would love to hear how you are using all of these things. You can always email our team or just send a message through the website, but you could also join our Facebook group, which you can find at Stuff You Can Use, a youth ministry community. And we would love to see your pictures and videos or just stories of like things that you've done that went really well,
Mhm.
or just share ideas of things that you did to like make this even more awesome in your context so that other people can learn from what you did. So friends, thanks for watching. We will be back next month with more deep dives into more fun things. So thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.